Good morning friends. Welcome to the refresher training program on APCCA rules 1991. Rule 20. Procedure for imposing major penalties, which is very important chapter in the CCA rules. This has to be very carefully listened to. No order imposing any of the penalties specified in clauses 6 to 10 of Rule 9 shall be made except after an inquiry held. Whenever the disciplinary authority is of the opinion that there are grounds for inquiring into the truth of any imputation of misconduct or misbehavior against a government servant, it may itself inquire into or appoint under this rule, as the case may be, authority to inquire into the truth thereof. Explanation. Where the disciplinary authority itself holds the inquiry, any reference to the inquiring authority shall be construed as a reference to the disciplinary authority. Amendments. The following shall be substituted, namely, where it is proposed to hold an inquiry against a government servant under this rule and Rule 21, the disciplinary authority or the cadre controlling authority who is not designated as disciplinary authority and who is subordinate to the appointing authority can draw or cause to be drawn up the substance of imputations of misconduct or misbehavior into definite and distinct articles of charge, a statement of imputations of misconduct or misbehavior in support of each article of charge, which shall contain a statement of all relevant facts, including any admission or confession made by the government servant, a list of documents by which and a list of witnesses by whom the articles of charge are proposed to be sustained. The disciplinary authority shall deliver or cause to be delivered to the government servant a copy of the articles of charge, the statement of imputations of misconduct or misbehavior, and its list of documents and witnesses by which each article of charge is proposed to be sustained, and copies of the said documents and statements of the said witnesses, and shall require the government servant to appear before the disciplinary authority on such day and at such time, not exceeding 10 working days, and submit a written statement of his defense and to state whether he desires to be heard in person. On the date fixed for appearance, the government servant shall submit the written statement of his defense. The disciplinary authority shall ask the government servant whether he is guilty or has any defense to make, and if he pleads guilty to any of the articles of charge, the disciplinary authority shall record the plea, sign the record, and obtain the signature of the government servant thereon. The disciplinary authority shall record findings of guilty in respect of those articles of charges to which the government servant pleads guilty. Where the government servant admits all the articles of charge, the disciplinary authority shall record its findings on each article of charge after taking such evidence as it may think fit, and shall act in the manner laid down in Rule 21. Where the government servant appears before the disciplinary authority and pleads not guilty to the charges or refuses or omits to plead, the disciplinary authority shall record the plea and obtain the signature of the government servant thereon, and may decide to hold the inquiry itself, or if it considers it necessary to do so, appoint an inquiring authority for holding the inquiry into the charges, and also appoint a government servant or a retired government servant or a legal practitioner as presenting officer to present the case in support of the articles of charge and adjourn the case to a date not exceeding 5 days. On the day so fixed, the disciplinary authority shall serve copies of the orders appointing the inquiring authority and the presenting officer on the government servant, and inform him that he may take the assistance of any other government servant to present the case on his behalf, but he may not engage a retired government servant or a legal practitioner for the purpose unless the presenting officer appointed by the disciplinary authority is one such, or the disciplinary authority having regard to the circumstances of the case so permits, provided that no government servant dealing in his official capacity with the case of inquiry relating to the person charged or any officer to whom an appeal may be preferred shall be permitted by the inquiring authority to appear on behalf of the person charged before the inquiring authority. Provided further that the government servant may take the assistance of any other government servant posted at any other station if the inquiring authority, having regard to the circumstances of the case and for reasons to be recorded in writing, so permits. Note 1. The government servant shall not take the assistance of any other government servant who has pending two disciplinary cases on hand in which he has to give assistance. The government servant may also take the assistance of a retired government servant to present the case on his behalf, subject to such conditions as may be specified by the government from time to time by general or special order in his behalf. The disciplinary authority shall inform the government servant to submit within 5 days a list of documents which he requires to be discovered or produced by government for the purpose of his defense, indicating the relevance of the documents so required. The disciplinary authority may, for reasons to be recorded in writing, refuse to requisition such of the documents as are, in its opinion, not relevant to the case. The disciplinary authority shall, on receipt of the notice for the discovery or production of documents, forward the same or copies thereof to the authority in whose custody or possession the documents are kept, with a requisition for the production of the documents by such date as may be specified in such requisition. On receipt of requisition referred to in clause F of the sub-rule, every authority having the custody or possession of the requisitioned documents shall produce the same before the disciplinary authority, provided that if the authority having the custody or possession of the requisitioned documents is satisfied, for reasons to be recorded by it in writing, that the production of all or any such documents would be against the public interest or security of the state, shall submit the fact to the head of the department or to the secretary of the department concerned for a decision in the matter. Such decision shall be informed to the disciplinary authority, and where the decision is to withhold production of all or any of such documents, the disciplinary authority shall, on being so informed, communicate the information to the government servant and withdraw the requisition made by it for the production or discovery of such documents, and where the decision is against withholding the production of all or any of such documents, every authority having the custody or the possession of such requisitioned documents shall produce the same before the disciplinary authority. Where the government servant to whom a copy of the articles of charge has been delivered does not submit the written statement of defense on or before the date specified for the purpose, or does not appear in person before the disciplinary authority, or otherwise fails or refuses to comply with the provisions of this rule, the disciplinary authority may decide to hold the inquiry ex parte, or if it considers it necessary so to do, appointing an inquiry authority for the purpose. The disciplinary authority shall, where it is not the inquiring authority, forward to the inquiring authority a copy of the articles of charge and the statement of imputations of misconduct or misbehavior, a copy of the written statement of defense, if any, submitted by the government servant, copies of the statements of witnesses referred to in sub-rule 3, copies of documents referred to in sub-rule 3, evidence proving the delivery of copies of the documents referred to in sub-rule 3 to the government servant, and a copy of the order appointing the presenting officer. The disciplinary authority shall also forward to the inquiring authority documents received under clause G of sub-rule 5 as and when they are received. After receiving the documents mentioned under sub-rule 7a, the inquiring authority shall issue a notice in writing to the presenting officer and also to the government servant to appear before him on such day and at such time and place specified by him, which shall not exceed 10 days. The presenting officer and government servant shall appear before the inquiring authority on the date fixed under Rule 8. If the government servant informs the inquiring authority that he wishes to inspect the documents mentioned in sub-rule 3 for the purpose of preparing his defense, the inquiring authority shall order that he may inspect the documents within 5 days, and the presenting officer shall arrange for the inspection accordingly. The inquiring authority shall call upon the government servant whether he admits the genuineness of any of the documents copies of which have been furnished to him, and if he admits the genuineness of any document, it may be taken as evidence without any proof by the concerned witnesses. The inquiring authority shall adjourn the case for inquiry to a date not exceeding 10 days for production of evidence and require the presenting officer to produce the evidence by which he proposes to prove the articles of charge. On the date fixed for recording the evidence, the warrant documentary evidence by which the article of charge are proposed to be proved shall be produced by or on behalf of the disciplinary authority. The evidence shall be recorded as far as possible on day-to-day basis till the evidence on behalf of disciplinary authority is completed. The witnesses shall be examined by or on behalf of the presenting officer, and they may be cross-examined by or on behalf of the government servant. The presenting officer shall be entitled to re-examine the witnesses on any points on which they have been cross-examined, but not on any new matter without the permission of the inquiring authority. The inquiring authority may also put such questions to the witnesses as it thinks fit. If it appears necessary before the closure of the case on behalf of the disciplinary authority, the inquiring authority may, in its discretion, allow the presenting officer to produce evidence not included in the list given to the government servant, or may itself call for new evidence or recall and re-examine any witness. In such case, the government servant shall be entitled to have a copy of the list of further evidence proposed to be produced and an adjournment of the inquiry for the 3 clear days before the production of such new evidence, inclusive of the day of adjournment and the day to which the inquiry is adjourned. The inquiring authority shall give the government servant an opportunity of inspecting such documents before they are taken on the record. New evidence shall not be permitted or called for, and witnesses shall not be recalled to fill up any gap in the evidence. Such evidence may be called for only when there is an inherent lacuna or defect in the evidence which has been produced originally. When the case for the disciplinary authority is closed, the government servant shall be required to state his defense orally or in writing, as he may prefer, and to submit a list of witnesses to be examined on his behalf, for which purpose the case may be adjourned to a date not exceeding 5 days. The defense is made orally, it shall be recorded, and the government servant shall be required to sign the record. In either case, a copy of the statement of defense and the list of defense witnesses will be provided. The case shall be adjourned to a date not exceeding 10 days for production of defense witnesses. The evidence on behalf of the government servant shall then be produced. The government servant may examine himself in his own behalf if he so prefers. The witnesses produced by the government servant shall then be examined and shall be liable to cross-examination, re-examination, and examination by the inquiring authority according to the provisions applicable to the witnesses for the disciplinary authority. The inquiring authority may, after the government servant closes his case, and shall, if the government servant has not examined himself, generally question him on the circumstances appearing against him in the evidence for the purpose of enabling the government servant to explain any circumstances appearing in the evidence against him. The inquiring authority may, after the completion of the production of evidence, hear the presenting officer, if any appointed, and the government servant, or permit them to file written briefs of their respective cases if they so desire. Where a disciplinary authority competent to impose any of the penalties specified in clauses 1 to 5 of Rule 9 and in Rule 10, but not competent to impose any of the penalties specified in clauses 6 to 10 of Rule 9, has itself inquired into or caused to be inquired into the articles of any charge, and the authority, having regard to its own findings or having regard to its decision on any of the findings of any of inquiring authority appointed by it, is of the opinion that specified in clauses 6 to 10 of Rule 9 should be imposed on the government servant. That authority shall forward the records of the inquiry to such disciplinary authority as is competent to impose the last mentioned penalties. The disciplinary authority to which the records are so forwarded may act on the evidence on the record, or may, if it is of the opinion that further examination of any of the witnesses is necessary in the interest of justice, recall the witnesses and examine, cross-examine and re-examine the witnesses, and may impose on the government servant such penalty as it may deem fit in accordance with these rules. Whenever an inquiring authority, after having heard and recorded the whole or any part of the evidence in an inquiry ceases to exercise jurisdiction therein and is succeeded by any another inquiring authority which has and which exercises such jurisdiction. The inquiry authority so succeeding act on the evidence so recorded by its predecessor or partly recorded by its predecessor and partly recorded by itself, provided that if the succeeding authority is of the opinion that further examination of any of the witnesses whose evidence has already been recorded is necessary in the interest of justice, it may recall, examine, cross-examine, and re-examine any such witnesses in before provided. After conclusion of the inquiry, a report shall be prepared and it shall contain the articles of charge and the statement of imputation of misconduct or misbehavior, and the defense of the government servant in respect of each article of charge, an assessment of the evidence in respect of each article of charge, the findings on each article of charge and reasons therefore. Explanation. If in the opinion of the inquiring authority, the proceedings of the inquiry establish any article of charge different from original article of charge, it may record its findings on such article of charge, provided that the findings on such article of charge shall not be recorded unless the government servant has either admitted the facts on which such article of charge is based or has had a reasonable opportunity of defending himself against such article of charge. The inquiring authority, where it is not itself the disciplinary authority, shall forward to the disciplinary authority the records of inquiry, which shall include the report prepared by it under clause 1, the written statement of defense, if any, submitted by the government servant, the oral and documentary evidence produced in the course of inquiry, written briefs, if any, filed by the presenting officer or the government servant or both during the course of inquiry, and the orders, if any, made by the disciplinary authority and the inquiring authority in regard to the inquiry. Preparation of article of charge. It should be in third person, designation and the period of time involved, only violation of service and departmental rules, conduct rules, irregularities has to be mentioned, misconduct or negligence, failure to maintain absolute integrity and devotion to duty, acts of commission and omissions, disobedience of orders and instructions. In case of specific breach or specific rule of the conduct rules, service rules, the specific rule violated to be mentioned. To be precise, distinct, clear and unambiguous language should communicate the delinquent officer the grounds on which he is being charged and particular irregularities which he has committed. Should not contain discussion of evidence or give opinions or conclusions. A separate charge in respect of each separate transaction, event or a series of related transaction, events amounting to misconduct, misbehavior. If the transactions, events amount to more than one type of misconduct, all the misconduct should be mentioned. The articles of charge should first give plain fact and then mention the nature of misconduct and misbehavior. There is no bar to include all charges of violation of departmental rules as well as criminal offences which can be taken up departmentally. The proceeding should be based on failure to observe departmental rules and regulations. All the data, figure, date, etc. should be carefully checked before issue of the charge sheet. Statement of imputations. The statement of imputation should contain the grounds on which the charges are based and the circumstances under which it is proposed to take action against the charged officer. Should be sent along with the draft articles of charge. Should be prepared in the third person so as to be in line with the draft articles of charge. Should indicate clearly and in sufficient detail all the acts of omission or commission on which each charge is based. All instances of irregularities, etc., which are relied upon in support of the charges and which are to be proved in course of proceedings should be specifically mentioned. Superfluous matters or comments and opinions of the investigating or prosecuting officers or a discussion of the material available should be avoided. Should be confined to the narration of the facts which constitute and support the charge. Conduct of inquiry. Inquiry can be conducted even on holidays. No need to examine all the witnesses. Witnesses not cited in the charge sheet can be examined at the request of the presenting officer or at the instructions of inquiry officer. Tape recorded evidence is also admissible. Evidence of accomplice can be relied upon. Conduct of inquiry. When a charge different from charge framed established, the inquiry officer can give findings of the charge if charge officer admits given reasonable opportunity. Past bad record cannot be taken into consideration for arriving at findings on the charge, but can be considered for imposing an enhanced penalty. Degree of proof is by preponderance of probability. Hearsay evidence, if it has logically probative value, is admissible. Disciplinary authority is the sole judge of the facts. Adequacy and reliability of evidence cannot be questioned before court. Court interfere when only violation of rules of procedures, natural justice, arbitrariness, no evidence, etc., not on the merits of evidence. Action on the inquiry report. The disciplinary authority, if it is not itself inquiring authority, may, for reasons to be recorded by it in writing, remit the case to the inquiring authority for further inquiry, and report the inquiring authority shall thereupon proceed to hold the further inquiry according to the provisions of Rule 20 as far as may be. The disciplinary authority shall forward or cause to be forwarded a copy of the report of the inquiry, if any, held by the disciplinary authority, or where the disciplinary authority is not the inquiring authority, a copy of the report of the inquiring authority, together with its own tentative reasons for disagreement, if any, with the findings of inquiring authority or any article of charge to the government servant, who shall be required to submit, if he so desires, his written representation or submission to the disciplinary authority within 15 days, irrespective of whether the report is favorable or not to the government servant. The disciplinary authority shall consider the representation, if any, submitted by the government servant and record its findings before proceeding further in the matter as specified in the sub-rules 4 and 5 below. If the disciplinary authority, having regard to its findings on all or any of the article of charge, is of the opinion that any of the penalties specified in clauses 1 to 5 of Rule 9 should be imposed on the government servant, it shall, notwithstanding anything contained in Rule 22, make an order imposing such penalty, provided that in every case where it is not necessary to consult the Commission, the record of the inquiry shall be forwarded by the disciplinary authority to the Commission for its advice, and such advice shall be taken into consideration before making any order imposing penalty of the government servant. If the disciplinary authority, having regard to its findings on all or any of the articles of charge and on the basis of evidence adduced during the inquiry, is of the opinion that any of the penalties specified in clauses 6 to 10 of Rule 9 should be imposed on the government servant, it shall make an order imposing such penalty. It shall not be necessary to give the government servant any opportunity of making representation on the penalty proposed to be imposed, provided that in every case where it is necessary to consult the Commission, the record of the inquiry shall be forwarded by the disciplinary authority to the Commission for its advice, and such advice shall be taken into consideration before making an order imposing any such penalty on the government servant.
Rule 22. Procedure for imposing minor penalties. Subject to the provisions of Sub-Rule 4 of Rule 21, no order imposing on a government servant any of the penalties specified in clauses 1 to 5 of Rule 9 and in Rule 10 shall be made except after informing the government servant in writing of the proposal to take action against him and of the imputations of misconduct or misbehavior on which it is proposed to be taken, and giving him a reasonable opportunity of making such representation as he may wish to make against the proposal. Holding an inquiry in the manner laid down in Sub-Rule 3 to Rule 23 of Rule 20, in every case in which the disciplinary authority is of the opinion that such inquiry is necessary. Taking the representation, if any, submitted by the government servant under Clause A and the record of inquiry, if any, held under Clause B into consideration. Recording a finding on each imputation of misconduct or misbehavior and consulting the Commission where such consultation is necessary. Notwithstanding anything contained in Clause B of Sub-Rule 1, if in a case it is proposed after considering representation, if any, made by the government servant under Clause A of that sub-rule to withhold increments of pay, and such withholding of increments is likely to affect adversely the amount of pension payable to the government servant, or to withhold increments of pay for a period exceeding 3 years, an inquiry shall be held in the manner laid down in sub-rules 3 to 23 of Rule 20 before making any order imposing on government servant any such penalty. The record of the proceedings in such cases shall include a copy of the intimation to the government servant of the proposal to take action against him, a copy of the statement of imputations of misconduct or misbehavior delivered to him, his representation if any, the evidence produced during the inquiry if any, the advice of the commission if any, the findings on each imputation of misconduct or misbehavior, the orders of the case together with the reasons therefore. Rule 23, communication of orders. Orders made by the disciplinary authority shall be communicated to the government servant, who shall also be supplied with a copy of the report of the inquiry, if any, held by the disciplinary authority, and a copy of its findings on each article of charge, or where the disciplinary authority is not the inquiring authority, and a statement of findings of the disciplinary authority, together with brief reasons for its disagreement, if any, with the findings of inquiring authority, unless they have already been supplied to him, and also a copy of the advice, if any, given by the commission, and where the disciplinary authority has not accepted the advice of the commission, a brief statement of the reasons for such non-acceptance. Rule 24, common proceedings. Where two or more government servants of the same service or different services are concerned, in any case, the government or any authority competent to impose the penalty of dismissal from service on all such government servants may make an order directing that disciplinary action against all of them may be taken in a common proceedings, provided that if the authorities competent to impose the penalty of dismissal on such government servants are different, such authorities not being the government, an order for holding such inquiry in a common proceedings may be made by the highest of such authorities with the consent of the other authorities competent to impose the said penalty on the others. Subject to the other provisions of these rules, every such order shall specify the authority which may function as the disciplinary authority for the purpose of such common proceedings, the penalty specified in Rule 9 and 10 which such disciplinary authority shall be competent to impose, whether the procedure laid down in Rule 20 and Rule 21 or Rule 22 shall be followed in the proceeding. Rule 25, special procedure in certain cases. Notwithstanding anything contained in Rule 20 to Rule 24, where any penalty is imposed on a government servant on the ground of conduct which has led to his conviction on a criminal charge, or where the disciplinary authority is satisfied for reasons to be recorded by it in writing that it is not reasonably practicable to hold an inquiry in the manner provided in these rules, or where the governor is satisfied that in the interest of the security of the state, it is not expedient to hold any inquiry in the manner provided in these rules, the disciplinary authority may consider the circumstances of the case and make such orders thereon as it deems fit, provided that the commission shall be consulted where such consultation necessary before any orders are made in any case under this rule, provided further that no such consultation with the commission is necessary before any orders are made under clause 1 of this rule. Rule 26, waiver of procedure in certain cases. All or any of the provisions of rules 20 to 24 may, in exceptional cases and for special and sufficient reasons to be recorded by the disciplinary authority in writing, be waived where there is a difficulty in observing fully the requirements of these rules, and those requirements can be waived without causing any injustice to the government servant charged. If, in respect of any government servant charged, a question arises whether it is reasonably practicable to hold such inquiry or give such opportunity as is referred to in Rules 20 to 24, the decision thereon of the disciplinary authority competent to impose any of the penalties specified in clauses 7 to 10 of Rule 9 on the government servant concerned shall be final. Rule 27, action on report of Lokayukta and Upalokayukta. notwithstanding anything contained in Rule 20 or Rule 22, where it is proposed to impose on a government servant any of the penalties specified in Rule 20, Rule 9 or Rule 10 on the basis of the recommendation contained in the report mentioned in subsection 1 of section 12 of the Andhra Pradesh Lokayukta and Upalokaykta Act 1983, the disciplinary authority shall take action on the basis of the recommendation contained in the report after furnishing a copy of the report to the charged government servant to make a representation, if any, within a reasonable time fixed and after taking into consideration such representation and impose any of the penalties specified in Rule 9 or Rule 10, provided that the disciplinary authority for the purpose of this rule shall be the authority under Rule 2C or as specified under Clause C of Section 2 of the Andhra Pradesh Lokayukta and Upalokaykta Act. The Complaints Committee report on allegations of sexual harassment and atrocities on women shall be deemed to be an inquiry report under these rules, notwithstanding anything contained in Rule 20 or Rule 22 where it is proposed to impose on government servant any of the penalties specified in Rule 9 or Rule 10 on the basis of the inquiry report of the Complaints Committee. The disciplinary authority shall take action on the basis of recommendations contained in the inquiry report after furnishing a copy of the report to the charged government servant to make a representation, if any, within a reasonable time fixed and after taking into consideration such representation and impose any of the penalties specified in Rule 9 or Rule 10, Part 6